Dzień dobry, nazywam się Krystyna. Hi, my name is Kristen, and this is the accusative case in Polish, and we are going to ask kogo co, which is going to cover asking about people and asking about things using the accusative grammatical case in the Polish language. So first, asking about people, we can look at these three questions: kogo znasz, kogo pan zna, kogo pani zna. And so this is the informal and formal way of asking who do you know. And so answering this question, you first start out by conjugating the verb znać, which is to know when you're talking about people, into znam, followed by whoever you are saying that you know, which in this case is znam Agnieszkę and then znam ją. So to break this down, Agnieszkę is in the accusative, and you know that by looking at this e hook that is at the end. So Agnieszka is the nominative form of her name, just as my name is Krystyna. And so if this hypothetical man here were saying that he knows me, though, he would also say znam Krystynę instead of Krystyna. And so same thing with znam ją, except here he is using the pronoun in the accusative case. So we know that ona is she, but we know that that is the nominative form of she, and that this is she in the accusative case. And those are some things that you just kind of have to remember. With words and names, you know that the ending goes from a to e or on. But with pronouns, they're more of things that you memorize. So in the accusative case, she is ją. And so now we'll look at this same situation, except talking about the masculine. So if she were saying znam, like I know him, and using his name, she would say znam Roberta and znam go. So here we see again the name, which in the nominative is just Robert, but because this is the accusative masculine and animate version of talking about Robert, we add an A to the end of his name. And it's important to know here that this is only required when talking about something animate or someone. And so when you're talking about a thing that is not living, an inanimate object, in the accusative, you do not add the A, and we will get to that later in this video. But just know when you're talking about someone in the accusative in the masculine, you're going to add the A to their name or the noun in the accusative form. So, and then to follow znam go, we know that on is he, the pronoun he in the nominative form, but in the accusative it is go. So znam go, znam ją, and so that is how you talk about people in the accusative. So now let's move on to talking about things in the accusative. And just as before, how we use the verb znać, which means to know, particularly to know someone. There's a different verb for to know about things rather than people. Here we're going to talk about things using the verb studiować, which means to study, but conjugated into the second person singular and third person singular. We have co studiujesz, co pani studiuje, co pan studiuje. So all of these mean what do you study. This is informal, this is formal, pan and pani, Mr. and Mrs. So with the example, Agnieszka studiuje, we see that we want to say Agnieszka studies, Agnieszka studiuje, and we want to say that she studies Spanish literature. However, hiszpańska literatura is the nominative case of Spanish literature, and we know that because these are just A's at the end, telling us that they are feminine words, but that they're also in the nominative case. And so to change this and put this in the accusative case to make it grammatically correct when saying Agnieszka studiuje, we have to change the two words to follow hiszpańska literatura into hiszpańską literaturę. And so this is just how the accusative case is in the feminine, where the adjective always has the ending of on, and the noun always has the ending of e or on. And so, again, this is just to be grammatically correct. If you say Agnieszka studiuje hiszpańska literatura, it's not correct, and people will know that you are definitely not native, and also probably think you don't really know what you're talking about. Because and this matters more too when you get more in depth into the language and the syntax starts to switch up. But so you need to sort of learn these rules now so that you can become more fluent and have a deeper understanding of the language. So in this case, we could ask either co studiujesz if we were talking to someone about Agnieszka, or we can say co pani studiuje, and answer Agnieszka studiuje hiszpańską literaturę. And so on or on elm is the feminine response in the accusative case. Sorry. Okay, so moving on to talking about things except using the masculine part of the accusative case, we can look at the verb mieć, conjugated into, again, second person singular and third person singular when asking co masz, co pani ma, and co pan ma. All of this means what do you have, informal, formal, and so examples with this are going to get a little bit more complicated than the feminine, because the accusative and also other cases as well have two different parts to the masculine, one being inanimate and one being animate, and I mentioned that at the beginning of this video. So we have mam bardzo dobry brat. This is the nominative, so you cannot say mam bardzo dobry brat. You have to instead change dobry brat into the accusative masculine animate case, and that means adding ego to the adjective and adding a to the end of the noun. So, mam bardzo dobrego brata. A co to znaczy? I have a very good brother. But note that it is ego a because it is masculine and animate. And the animate part is really important to that, and I will show you why next. So, instead of saying mam bardzo dobrego brata, you want to talk about your car. And instead of talking about your brother, who is a living thing, you're now talking about an inanimate object, and you want to say mam bardzo, and then use brzydki samochód, which means ugly car. I have an ugly car. You want to say and respond to this question by saying I have an ugly car, but you don't put brzydki and samochód into the same form because it is not animate. And so instead you say mam bardzo brzydki samochód. Same thing. In the inanimate masculine, the structure of the noun doesn't change. So really what you need to know for the accusative masculine is that the words change when they are animate. And so I hope that this gives you more of an understanding of both feminine and masculine in the accusative case, and how to ask and answer who someone is, or who they know, rather, and ask what do you have, what do you study, or general questions about things in the accusative case.